Okay, so this is the finished result of what we're going to be doing today. Holding a brush, so you can tell we do things with makeup. But you can see that I'm really pale, really pale. I wanted to show you guys how to do pale, what do they call it? The thing with the darkness and the contouring. Pale contouring. I'm going to start by showing you the tools that I use, because, I don't know, they're pretty cool and kind of important. So I have a really big, fluffy brush here. It's a really fluffy powder. I have an e.l.f. powder brush. You can barely read it. I don't know what the technical term for this is. Angle powder brush? I don't know, maybe, but it goes. It's made. I think it's hard. I think that's how you say the name. And then the last thing that I use is a makeup sponge. I'm going to also show you the actual makeup that I use. Okay, so the first thing that I have is this NYC primer, Dream Tone Manic Panic. Although if you have a lot of acne and you need more coverage, I definitely recommend this. That way you don't look totally like a ghost. So this one is CoverGirl. I have this concealer. It is True Match by L'Oreal. This is important. It's a white stick. It's Maybelline. Basically what's going to give you your highlights. Tarte bronzer. And it is Park Avenue Princess. Park Avenue Out of Focus Princess. Tarte. More Tarte. Peaceful. And it's an optional item. You don't need blush. The most important thing of all is the powder. I really like Airspun. This one is a translucent extra cover.
Alright guys, so we're going to get started. First we're going to pull back our hair, and then we're going to get out our primer and we're going to dab it on our face and rub it in so that it's really smooth and even all across. This is going to give us a nice underlying to our foundation that's just going to help everything go more smooth. Now we're going to get out our Dream Tone Manic Panic foundation, or whatever you may be using, and we're going to dab it along our T-zone. That way we'll have more coverage where we need it. We'll use our sponge in order to blend it in, the flat part more towards the under the eyes and on the nose and right above the eyebrows and a little bit on the chin, but the round part is more for blending, and it's really a combination of both. As you learn your face more, you'll be able to better understand how best to blend for your face. Now we're going to get out our Maybelline Concealer White Stick, and we're going to draw it along the lines that we want highlighting. So that'll be on the nose, right under the eyes, above the eyebrows, in between on the cleft of your upper lip, and then also a little bit on your chin. And so what you see me doing is this dabbing motion. It's very quick, and basically that allows for you to get the most coverage without wiping off excess makeup. And so it just kind of gives her a very blended look. And that's more used right underneath the eyes and a little bit more so on the nose and on the chin as well. Right above the eyebrows, we do a little bit more of a rubbing, just because you need a little bit more of a blended look above. It's not as imperative that it's very concentrated. Using our True Match concealer, we're going to go around the areas where we need a little bit more coverage. Personally for me, that's right around the nose because it gets really oily there, and basically any spots where I have blemishes. And so I'm just going to go through and just kind of put it there, and then I'm going to use my sponge just kind of to blend that in and to kind of get a more even look. Don't be afraid to use a good amount of concealer, but be careful that when you are blending it in that you don't over blend and just basically add more color to your skin instead of actually concealing what you're trying to. This is also a really good time to make sure that all of your edges are blended out on your face. Now we're going to use our Tarte bronzer to kind of accomplish what I consider to be probably the hardest part of this whole routine that I do. And it is all of the contouring darkness. And so what I like to do is I'll go along my cheekbone and I'll go right underneath my chin and jawline just to kind of give a more thinned out look of my face, because the white really did stretch it out while I was applying it. Just being able to have the light color and the contrast with the darker color just really gives definition to your face. And so another really good place to apply it is right along your forehead. And kind of like, as you can see, I have a sort of squarish shape going. And if it goes down to a point in the middle of your forehead, that's a really good way. You'll see as I get up towards the upper part as I go further. It's also really great, as I had done along my nose, as it gives definition and it just sort of brings your nose to attention without bringing it into a negative light. We're going to use our Airspun powder for probably the most important part, because if not, you kind of walk outside looking a little bit like a clown. So we're going to use it for blending. And so you can see the difference there between my face when I have blended versus when I hadn't. And it's just a really big difference, and this is a very important part of it because this just kind of gives you a nice airbrushed effect, as ironic as it is with the Airspun powder. The Tarte blush is kind of an optional part of this routine where I kind of just add some highlighter to where we already had highlighted. This is just more color versus just sort of a whiteness, and so it's really up to you in personal preference. I normally don't use blush, but I decided to show you just so you can see what it does sort of look like. I'm using a very light amount, but you can go heavier, especially if you go a little bit lower on your face. So this is the finished result of my face. You can see it up close just to kind of see how everything kind of blended and how it just looks, especially on a pale face. So here's your idea of the finished look. Now remember, a dose of calcium a day helps keep the sadness away. My name is Kelsey, and you just got your daily dose of calcium smiles. Love you so much. Also, I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for watching and checking this all out. You guys mean the world to me.